Do you ever feel like your children are ignoring you or treating you with disrespect? Have you found yourself struggling to keep your cool, unsure of how to react without making the situation worse? In this video, we're going to dive deep into a powerful yet simple 6-step approach that will not only help you handle these delicate moments, but also improve your relationship with your children in ways you may not have thought possible. By the end of this video, you will understand how to stop conflict before it starts, create stronger bonds, and maintain your emotional balance, turning tense moments into opportunities for growth and respect. These are proven strategies you can start applying today. No matter how difficult the situation may seem, stay tuned, because this isn't just about solving problems, it's about building lasting trust and a more harmonious connection with your children. You don't want to miss the practical tips that could transform the way you communicate with your family. If you are not subscribed, I recommend subscribing and activating the notification bell so you don't miss any videos. Your support means a lot to me, and if you enjoyed this video, you can help me continue spreading the valuable lessons by liking and sharing it. Step 1. Keep your emotions in check. The first and most crucial step in navigating the storm. My waters of parent-child relationships is learning to keep your emotions in check when your children ignore you, or even worse, show you disrespect. The natural surge of anger, frustration, or hurt is inevitable. These emotions can feel like a fire burning inside, ready to erupt. But while these feelings are valid, acting on them impulsively can cause more harm than good. So before reacting, take a moment to pause. Close your eyes, take a deep breath, and remind yourself that your calm is not just a temporary solution, but a powerful message of resilience and inner strength. By staying composed, you create a space where unnecessary conflicts are avoided, allowing the situation to de-escalate before it even begins. This doesn't just protect the moment. It sends a ripple of strength throughout the entire relationship. Your children will sense your emotional stability. They will be subtly encouraged to reflect on their behavior, perhaps for the first time realizing that their actions haven't shaken them. Your calm becomes a mirror, reflecting confidence and wisdom on them, showing them how to handle difficulties without succumbing to rage or resentment. More importantly, keeping your emotions in check allows you to think with clarity and purpose. When anger clouds a mind, we often speak words or take actions that cut deep. Words that once spoken cannot be taken back. These moments of unbridled emotion can cause lasting damage to the relationship, creating wounds that take years to heal. But by practicing emotional control, you ensure that the words you speak and the actions you take come from a place of love and care, not from the temporary state of frustration. It's vital to understand that controlling your emotions doesn't mean suppressing what you feel. On the contrary, it's about embracing those feelings and channeling them. Constructively, acknowledge the anger, the hurt, and the disappointment, but don't let them rule you. Instead, harness them as tools to guide you toward a solution that strengthens your bond with your child. When your children witness a parent who can maintain composure in the face of adversity, it teaches them a profound life lesson that it is possible to face challenges with grace, maturity, and self-control. They will start to see that strength isn't in shouting louder or retaliating with disrespect, but in rising above the chaos with dignity. Over time, their respect for you deepens, and they begin to mirror this emotional fortitude in their own lives, improving not only their relationship with you, but also their interactions with the world around them. By mastering your emotions, you become a beacon of emotional intelligence, guiding your children toward a healthier, more harmonious connection. Step 2. Show understanding without giving in. Once you've managed to regain your emotional balance and take control of your feelings, it's time to move to the next critical step in strengthening your relationship with your children. Showing understanding without giving in After calming down, resist the impulse to immediately assert your authority or respond with criticism. It's natural to want to correct their behavior on the spot, but before reacting, pause and take a deeper look at what might be happening beneath the surface. What's fueling their actions? What are they trying to communicate, perhaps unconsciously, through their disrespect or defiance? Often children's behavior is driven by emotions. They don't know how to process or express emotions like insecurity, fear, or stress at first glance. It might seem like your children are deliberately pushing your buttons, testing your boundaries, or showing blatant disregard for your feelings. But underneath that behavior, there is usually something more complex at play. Maybe they are struggling with feelings of inadequacy or frustration that they can't articulate. Maybe they feel overwhelmed by something going on in their lives, and their disrespectful actions are simply an outlet for those pent-up emotions. Maybe they're seeking attention, and the only way they know how, even if that attention comes through conflict. Recognizing this requires not only patience, but a willingness to look beyond the immediate behavior and into the heart of the matter. If you are still watching this video and find these lessons useful, please comment one below to let me know that you are still here with me when you take the time to understand what's going on. You are not excusing their actions, but rather choosing to approach the situation from a place of empathy and care. And this empathy is what builds the foundation for meaningful and lasting communication. By holding space for your children's feelings, even the difficult, messy ones, you are signaling to them that you are not only a disciplinarian, but someone who is genuinely invested in their well-being. This doesn't mean letting disrespect slide or ignoring their poor behavior. Far from it, showing empathy means acknowledging the complexity of their emotions while also holding them accountable for their actions. Think of it this way: when your children act out, they are often expressing a need, even if they don't fully understand what that need is themselves. It could be the need for attention, the need for validation, or simply the need to be heard. By reacting with empathy, you give them the space to explore those needs without the immediate fear of punishment or judgment. This can be incredibly powerful. When children feel understood, they are more likely to lower their defenses, making it easier to have an open and honest dialogue. Now, showing empathy doesn't mean allowing yourself to be disrespected or walked over. It's important to hold firm boundaries and to let your children know that certain behaviors are not acceptable. However, it's equally important to balance those boundaries with understanding. Empathy allows you to maintain your role as a parent while also building a bridge to your child's emotional world. You show them that while you won't tolerate bad behavior, you do care about their feelings and struggles. Imagine this scenario: your teenager snaps at you, rolling their eyes and slamming the door after a brief argument. It's easy to interpret this as defiance, maybe even as a personal attack, but instead of responding with anger or demanding immediate respect, take a moment to consider what might be happening behind that display of frustration. Perhaps they are feeling overwhelmed by school pressures, or maybe there's tension in their friendships that they don't know how to cope with. By stepping into their shoes and viewing the situation from their perspective, you can approach the situation differently. Instead of reacting with force or punishment, try approaching them with curiosity and concern. You might say something like, "I see that you're upset right now. Do you want to talk about what's bothering you?" This simple shift from criticism to empathy can dramatically change the dynamic between you and your child. It lets them know that you're not just interested in controlling their behavior, but that you genuinely care about what they're going through. And when children feel that they're being listened to without judgment, they're much more likely to open up and share their true feelings. This is where real connection happens. It's also crucial to understand that showing empathy doesn't make you weak as a parent. On the contrary, it requires immense strength and emotional maturity to step back from conflict and respond with understanding rather than anger. You're not giving in to their behavior. You're addressing it from a place of wisdom. This approach teaches your children that conflict doesn't always have to end in anger or punishment. It shows them that it's possible to face difficult emotions with grace, maturity, and compassion, skills that will serve them well throughout their lives over time. As your children witness this balanced approach, they'll begin to model it in their own lives. They'll start to understand that emotions are something to be managed, not something to control them. They'll learn that empathy is not a sign of weakness, but a powerful tool for building deeper, more meaningful relationships. And most importantly, they'll begin to see you not just as an authority figure, but as a trusted confidant, someone they can turn to in times of emotional distress. Of course, this doesn't mean that every conversation will lead to a breakthrough. There will be times when your children still resist opening up, or when they continue to act out, despite your best efforts to empathize. But even in these moments, your consistent empathy will leave an imprint. It plants a seed of understanding that may not sprout immediately, but will grow over time. Your children will remember that, even in the heat of conflict, you choose to approach them with care and concern rather than anger and judgment, and in the long run, this will build a foundation of trust and respect that will strengthen your relationship. Understanding your child's behavior at a deeper level allows you to address the root of the problem rather than just reacting to the symptoms. It helps you guide them through their struggles in a way that fosters personal growth, both of them and for you as a parent. The path to empathy is not always easy, but it is a path worth taking. Through empathy, you transform what could be moments of division into opportunities for connection, healing, and growth in the end. Showing empathy without giving and helps you maintain your authority while building a deeper, more compassionate relationship with your children. It opens the door to honest communication, allowing you to address the underlying causes of their behavior and fostering a sense of mutual respect. And ultimately, it strengthens a bond between you and your children, creating a foundation of love, trust, and understanding that will last a lifetime. Step 3. Set clear boundaries calmly. While it's essential to maintain calm and understanding in your interactions with your children, the next vital step is setting clear boundaries. Boundaries serve as a framework for both your relationship and their behavior, providing structure, security, and a deeper understanding of accountability. It's important to remember that boundaries are not about controlling your children, but about guiding them toward making better choices by calmly defining what is and isn't acceptable. You create an environment of mutual respect and clarity when setting boundaries. The way you communicate them is just as important as the rules themselves. Instead of resorting to authoritative tones or threats, calmly and assertively explain your expectations. Let your children know what behaviors are unacceptable and be clear about the consequences that will follow if those boundaries are crossed. The key here is consistency. Children need to know that your boundaries aren't arbitrary or negotiable depending on your mood. Your firmness should be steady, but your tone should remain calm and non-threatening. This approach teaches them that their actions have consequences without igniting emotional conflict or power struggles. When boundaries are communicated in a calm and consistent manner, your children begin to understand that these guidelines aren't just about punishment, but about creating a healthy, respectful, and loving environment. They start to realize that boundaries are there to help, not to restrict them unnecessarily. This understanding fosters a sense of security. Knowing that you care enough to set limits provides them with a framework they can rely on. Boundaries also serve as essential life lessons. Children thrive when they understand the rules and expectations that guide their actions. Without boundaries, They may feel lost or overwhelmed by the world around them, but with well-defined limits, they gain a sense of order and purpose. Learning how to navigate relationships and responsibilities in a way that benefits both themselves and those around them. However, these boundaries must be balanced. It's crucial to avoid imposing overly rigid or excessively permissive rules. Too many restrictions can stifle your child's independence and creativity, while too few can leave them feeling directionless and unsure of how to behave. When established boundaries focus on finding a middle ground that provides structure but still allows room for personal growth and expression. For example, if your child consistently disrespects curfew, calmly explain the reasons for the curfew and the consequences of breaking it, rather than yelling or enforcing harsh punishments. Make the boundary clear. The curfew is 900 p.m. because your health and safety need to be home at a reasonable time. If you come home late again, you will lose your phone privileges for a week. This kind of boundary setting shows your child that their actions have direct consequences, and those consequences are tied to real-world considerations, not just arbitrary rules. It's also important to remember that consequences should be fair and proportional to the behavior. If the punishment is too harsh, your child may feel resentment, leading to more conflict rather than cooperation. On the other hand, if the consequences are too lenient, they may not take the boundaries seriously. Striking the right balance ensures that your child understands the importance of following the rules without feeling unfairly targeted or overly restricted. Calmly setting boundaries also helps you avoid the emotional battles that often accompany discipline. When you react to your child's behavior with anger or frustration, the situation can quickly escalate into a fight, leaving both you and your child feeling upset and disconnected. But by remaining calm and composed, you send a clear message. The boundary isn't up for debate, but you're not here to make them feel bad or ashamed. You're here to guide them toward better choices, and the boundary is simply part of that guidance. This method of boundary setting is especially valuable because it helps your child internalize the concept of accountability. They begin to see that their actions have consequences, not just at home, but in the world around them. Whether they're in school, at a job, or in a relationship, the reality is that every choice they make has a cost or a reward. By consistently enforcing boundaries at home, you're preparing them for this truth. You're teaching them that in life, their actions matter, and they must take responsibility for them. Boundaries also help your child develop self-discipline over time, as they see the consistent relationship between their actions and the consequences that follow. They start to think more carefully about their choices. They begin to anticipate the outcomes of their behavior, and in doing so, learn how to regulate themselves. This self-discipline is a critical skill that will serve them throughout their lives, helping them make better decisions in both personal and professional settings. Moreover, by setting boundaries in a calm, loving manner, you are modeling emotional maturity. You show your children that it's possible to hold firm without losing control and to be assertive without being aggressive. This teaches them that strength doesn't come from shouting or demanding obedience, but from calmly and confidently standing by your values and expectations. Over time, they will begin to mirror this behavior, developing their sense of calm, authority, and emotional balance. In addition, boundaries contribute to building mutual respect between you and your child. When they see that you're consistently clear about what you expect and that you're fair in enforcing consequences, they learn to trust your judgment. They may not always agree with the boundaries you set, but they will come to respect the fact that you are acting out of love and concern for their well-being. This respect forms the foundation of a healthy, long-term relationship, one in which they feel secure in your guidance and confident in your leadership. It's also essential to regularly review and adjust boundaries as your child grows and matures. What may have been appropriate for a younger child might no longer be necessary for a teenager or young adult as your child's needs and abilities change. So too, who should the boundaries you set? This flexibility demonstrates to your child that boundaries aren't about control for control's sake, but about supporting their development at every stage of life, involving them in discussions about boundaries, especially as they get older. Also fosters a sense of responsibility and mutual respect. It shows that you value their input and are willing to collaborate in creating a framework that works for both of you. Step 4, or set the example. You want to see children are like mirrors, constantly reflecting the behaviors they observe in their surroundings, especially from their parents. They learn far more from what they see than from what they hear, while words can guide them. It's your actions that leave a lasting imprint. If you desire respect from your children, it begins by showing respect to them. If you expect them to listen to you, demonstrate that you are willing to listen to them. Every tense situation becomes an opportunity for you to model the very behavior you want to see in them. If you are still watching this video and find these lessons useful, please comment too below to let me know that you are still here with me. Imagine your child in a moment of defiance or frustration. They aren't just listening to the words you say. They are closely watching your every move, gauging how you handle the conflict. How do you react when the tension rises? Do you meet their outburst with calm and patience, or do you allow your emotions to take over your ability to remain composed and thoughtful? In these difficult moments, sends a stronger message than any lecture or reprimand by modeling calmness and self-control. You teach your children one of the most valuable life lessons: how to manage conflict with grace and maturity. Being a good example doesn't mean you have to be perfect. Perfection is an unrealistic and unattainable goal, and striving for can cause unnecessary stress for both you and your children. Instead, focus on being consistent. Consistency in your actions, your responses, and your principles are far more powerful than any fleeting attempt at perfection. Children don't need their parents to be flawless. They need to see that you practice what you preach. They need to witness your efforts. Moments of disagreement. It's easy to be respectful when things are going smoothly, but the true test comes during times of conflict when emotions run high. It's natural to feel frustrated or defensive, but if you respond to their disrespect with harshness or dismissiveness, you inadvertently teach them that this behavior is acceptable. On the other hand, if you remain respectful, even in the heat of an argument, you demonstrate the power of maintaining dignity and respect, even when it's challenging. Let's say you want your children to develop the habit of listening attentively to others. You must be willing to extend that same courtesy to them. This means being fully present when they speak to you, giving them your undivided attention and acknowledging their thoughts and feelings without interrupting or dismissing them. Children are highly perceptive, and they quickly notice when you're only half listening or distracted. If they feel that their voice doesn't matter to you, they will be less inclined to listen to what you have to say. But if they see that you genuinely value their words, they will naturally adopt that same behavior, not only toward you, but in all their relationships. The example you set as a parent extends beyond the immediate interactions within your family. It influences how your children will behave in the world. At large, your consistent demonstration of respect, patience, and empathy at home forms the foundation of how they will interact with others, friends, teachers, future partners, and colleagues. In many ways, you are shaping their future relationships with every interaction. Even when it might seem insignificant, the way you handle everyday moments leaves the most lasting impressions. How do you treat the cashier at the grocery store? How do you speak about others when they aren't around? Do you take responsibility for your mistakes and apologize when you're wrong. Your children are observing these small, seemingly mundane moments, and from them they are learning how to navigate the world with integrity and respect. There will inevitably be times when you fall short, when your patience runs out, when you snap in frustration, or when you don't handle a situation as gracefully as you would like, and that's okay. These moments of imperfection provide another valuable teaching opportunity when you make a mistake. Acknowledge it openly, apologize to your children if necessary, and explain what you could have done better. This not only models accountability, but also reinforces the idea that mistakes are a natural part of life, and that what matters most is how we handle them. By showing humility and the willingness to grow, you teach your children to embrace their imperfections and to approach life with a mindset of learning and improvement. Consistency in your actions builds trust. When your children see that you stand by your words and consistently model the behavior you expect from them, they will develop a deeper sense of trust in you. They'll know that they can rely on you to lead by example, and this trust strengthens the parent-child bond. It creates an environment where they feel safe to express themselves, knowing that they are being guided by someone who doesn't just talk about values, but lives them daily in moments of disagreement or tension. It's easy to become reactive, especially when emotions are heightened. But these are the moments that test your ability to model the behavior you want to see. If your child raises their voice, remain calm. If they disrespect you, respond with patience. If they shut you out, stay open to understanding. By doing so, you show them that conflict doesn't have to spiral into negativity. Instead, it can be navigated with mutual respect and a willingness to listen and learn from one another. Moreover, when your children see that you are walking the talk, they will naturally feel more inclined to follow your lead. It's one thing to tell them to be patient, kind, or responsible. It's another to show them what that looks like in action. If you consistently practice patience, kindness, and responsibility, you're providing them with a blueprint for how to behave. They will start to internalize these values, not because you demanded it, but because they've seen firsthand how these qualities can positively shape their lives and relationships. Additionally, the example you set today will have a profound impact on how your children approach their roles as parents, partners, and community members in the future. When they encounter challenges or conflicts in their own lives, they will draw on the lessons they learn from watching you. Your actions will serve as a guidepost for them, helping them navigate the complexities of relationships with grace and integrity. It's also important to recognize that the example you set influences not only how your children behave, but also how they perceive themselves. When you show respect, patience, and empathy toward them, they begin to see themselves as worthy of that respect. They develop a stronger sense of self-worth, knowing that they are value, not just for what they do, but for who they are. This sense of self-worth is a powerful tool that will empower them to build healthy relationships, set boundaries, and treat others with kindness and respect throughout their lives. In the end, setting the example you want to see in your children is one of the most effective and enduring ways to shape their character. Your actions speak volumes far louder than any words you could ever say. They learn from watching how you handle life's ups and downs, how you treat others, and how you manage your own emotions. By consistently embodying the values you want to instill in them, you're not just teaching them how to behave, you're showing them how to live with integrity, empathy, and strength. And ultimately, this is the greatest gift you can give them. Step 5. Create moments of connection outside of conflict. While it's essential to address and correct disrespectful behavior, your relationship with your children cannot be solely focused on conflict and discipline. A truly strong parent-child bond is nurtured and solidified in the moments outside of those difficult situations, when things are calm and the focus is on building connections and shared experiences. These moments are what lay the foundation for mutual respect, understanding, and trust. When your children feel deeply connected to you outside of conflict, they are far more likely to naturally demonstrate respect and consideration. Even during challenging times, creating moments of connection begins with giving your children quality time, time that is free from distractions. Whether from work, technology, or other daily obligations. In these moments, be fully present. Set aside time to genuinely engage with them, whether it's through conversation, shared activities, or simply being together in a relaxed environment. This isn't just about spending time with them. It's about creating meaningful experiences that strengthen your emotional bond. When children feel that they are a priority, that they are valued, not just when there is a problem, but in quiet, peaceful times as well. It fosters a sense of security and trust. One of the most profound ways to build connection is through active listening. Make space for them to talk about their thoughts, feelings, and experiences, and listen without judgment or interruption. When you take the time to truly hear them, it sends a powerful message that their voice matters, that they are important, and that they can come to you not just with their problems, but with their joys and curiosities as well. This act of listening doesn't just enhance your bond, it also creates a culture of open communication, where your children feel comfortable sharing their inner world with you, in addition to talking and listening. Sharing activities can be a powerful way to strengthen your relationship. These activities don't need to be elaborate or costly. Something as simple as playing a game, going for a walk, cooking a meal together, or working on a project can create opportunities for connection. These shared experiences create memories that build the emotional bond between you and your children, offering them a sense of belonging in and acceptance. The more positive experiences you share, the more they will associate their relationship with you with feelings of warmth and security, which naturally leads to greater respect and consideration. It's important to understand that creating these moments of connection also makes the inevitable conflicts less frequent and less intense. When a child feels that they have a strong, positive relationship with their parent, one built on trust, love, and mutual respect, they are less likely to engage in behavior that disrupts that relationship. The emotional bond acts as a buffer during difficult times. Instead of seeing conflict as a battle to be won or a power struggle, they begin to view it as a momentary blip in an otherwise loving relationship. This shifts the dynamic entirely, making it easier to resolve conflicts with empathy and understanding rather than anger and offensiveness. Moreover, when children feel emotionally connected to their parents, they are more willing to accept guidance and discipline. They recognize that the boundaries and rules you set aren't arbitrary or controlling, but rather come from a place of care and concern for their well-being. This recognition fosters a deeper sense of respect as they start to understand that your role is not just to enforce rules, but to help them navigate life's challenges in a way that supports their growth and happiness. These moments of connection also provide your children with a sense of belonging, which is crucial for their emotional development. When they feel deeply connected to you, they know they have a safe, loving place to turn to. No matter what happens in their lives, this sense of security helps them develop a positive self-image and a greater capacity for empathy and respect in their relationships with others. In essence, the connection you build with them becomes a foundation for how they will relate to the world around them. They learn to give and receive respect because they've experienced it firsthand in their relationship with you. Another important aspect of creating these moments of connection is showing your children that they are appreciated and accepted for who they are, not just for what they do. Celebrate their strengths, encourage their passions, and let them know that they are valued simply because they are themselves. This fosters a deep sense of self-worth and confidence, which in turn makes them more likely to engage in respectful and considerate behavior. When children feel valued and accepted, they are less likely to act out or seek attention through negative behavior. Instead, they will naturally gravitate toward behaviors that reflect the respect and love they have received from you. A strong bond built through these moments of connection also serves as the best breeding ground for mutual respect. The more your children feel loved, appreciated, and accepted, the more they will reciprocate those feelings and their actions toward you. They will be more likely to listen, cooperate, and show respect. Not because they fear punishment or want to please you, but because they genuinely care about maintaining the positive relationship you've cultivated in this way. Respect becomes not something you have to demand, but something that grows organically out of the love and connection you share, in addition to strengthening the bond within your family. Creating moments of connection also prepares your children for future relationships. The skills they learn from these positive experiences, listening, empathy, cooperation, and respect, will serve them well in their interactions with friends, teachers, colleagues, and future partners. By modeling healthy, loving relationships, you are giving them the tools they need to build strong, respectful connections with others throughout their lives. These moments of connection also help your children feel emotionally grounded, which is especially important in today's fast-paced, often stressful world. When they know they can rely on you for love, support, and understanding, it gives them the emotional resilience to handle life's challenges with confidence. They know they have a secure base to return to, which allows them to face difficulties with a greater sense of calm and composure. This emotional grounding further reinforces their ability to engage in respectful, thoughtful behavior, even in moments of stress or conflict. Step 6. Give them space to reflect after you've calmly addressed the situation and set clear boundaries. One of the most crucial steps is to give your children the time and space to reflect on their behavior change. Especially in how children respond to authority and respect boundaries doesn't happen overnight, as much as you might wish for an immediate shift in their attitude or behavior. Sometimes the most profound changes come with time. By giving them the space they need, you allow a natural process of self-reflection and personal growth to take place, one that is far more meaningful than any forced response. When children are given room to process their actions without the pressure of immediate consequences or the demand for instant remorse, they are more likely to internalize the lessons you've imparted. Pushing too hard for an apology or immediate behavior correction can often backfire, leading to resistance, resentment, or even further defiance. Instead, patience creates an environment where your children can come to an understanding of why respect is important and how their actions affect others, including you. Allowing them to space doesn't mean you're letting go of the issue or minimizing the importance of their behavior. Rather, you're encouraging them to develop self-awareness and emotional intelligence skills that will serve them for the rest of their lives. Over time, they will begin to reflect on their actions, the boundaries you've set, and the consequences of crossing those boundaries. This kind of internal processing is far more powerful than simply obeying rules out of fear of punishment. It helps them grasp the deeper reasons behind respect and responsibility, which is the foundation of mature, respectful behavior. By giving your children the space to reflect, you also empower them to take ownership of their growth. They learn that change doesn't always have to be prompted by external forces, but can come from within. This fosters a sense of autonomy and personal responsibility, as they begin to understand that their behavior has real consequences, not just in terms of discipline, but in the way it impacts their relationships and their sense of self. This step requires patience on your part. It's natural to want to see immediate results after setting boundaries or addressing a problem, but maturation is a gradual process. Children, especially as they move through different stages of development, need time to digest what they've learned and apply it to their lives. In many cases, the lessons you impart today may not fully take root until much later. But rest assured that these seeds of wisdom are being planted. If you try to force a change too quickly or demand that they admit their mistakes before they've had time to process their emotions, you may unintentionally push them into a defensive position. When children feel cornered, they are more likely to dig in their heels or rebel against what they perceive as control. But by stepping back and giving them space, you allow them the dignity to come to their conclusions and insights, making the lessons they learn far more powerful. And lasting maturation requires time and patience, both from your children and from you. Trust in the process. With the right support, the boundaries you've set and the lessons you've taught will eventually take root. It's not about controlling every moment or dictating their every move. It's about guiding them toward a deeper understanding of respect, responsibility, and personal growth. Additional tips for strengthening your bond and improving communication. Now that you've learned these 6 essential steps for hand disrespect in a calm and constructive way, let's take a moment to explore some additional advice to further strengthen your bond with your children and improve communication within the family. First and foremost, learn to let go of small conflicts. Not every minor disagreement or provocation needs to be turned into a battle. Some conflicts are not worth the emotional energy it takes to engage in them. By choosing your battle wisely, you can focus on the issues that truly matter, rather than getting caught up in daily provocations or minor infractions. This doesn't mean ignoring problems. It means being strategic about where you intervene and where you allow natural consequences to teach the lesson. For example, if your child leaves their room messy for the 100th time, rather than turning it into a daily argument, you could set a larger boundary and tie it to a meaningful consequence, such as limiting screen time until their room is tidied. The point is to focus your energy on the bigger lessons, while letting go of the small frustrations that can lead to unnecessary conflict over time. Your children will come to understand that not everything needs to become a conflict, and they will learn to take responsibility for their actions without constant reminders or confrontations. Another powerful strategy is to involve your children in family decisions. Giving them a voice in matters that directly affect them not only strengthens their sense of belonging, but also fosters a deeper understanding of responsibility and respect. When children feel that their opinions are valued, they are more likely to approach family life with a sense of ownership and cooperation. This also helps them develop problem-solving skills as they learn the way the consequences of their choices and work collaboratively toward solutions. For instance, if you're planning a family vacation or deciding on new house rules, ask for their input. Let them feel like an active participant in the decision-making process. This gives them a sense of empowerment and helps them understand that respect is a two-way street. It's about considering others' perspectives as well as expressing their own. Also, don't forget to acknowledge their progress. It's easy to focus on the negative behaviors, but positive reinforcement is just as important, if not more so, in shaping your child's development. Take time to recognize and celebrate the small improvements, even if they seem minor in the grand scheme of things. A simple acknowledgement of effort, like noting when they've been more respectful or when they've made an effort to improve their behavior, can go a long way, and reinforcing the behaviors you want to see more of. Children thrive on positive feedback. It encourages them to continue growing and striving to do better. When they see that their positive efforts are being noticed and appreciated, they are more likely to repeat those behaviors, knowing that they are valued and respected in return. If you are still watching this video and find these lessons useful, please comment 3 below to let me know that you are still here with me. One of the most impactful things you can do as a parent is to admit your own mistakes when necessary. If you've overreacted or handled the situation poorly, Don't be afraid to apologize. This isn't a sign of weakness. It's one of the greatest signs of strength and humility, by admitting. When you've been wrong, you teach your children that mistakes are part of life, and that it's okay to learn and grow from them. It also shows them that even adults are on a journey of continuous self-improvement, which can be incredibly empowering for them to witness. Finally, it's important to maintain a long-term perspective. Change, especially in family dynamics, takes time. It's not about quick fixes or instant results. Every step you take toward creating a calmer, more respectful relationship with your children is an investment in the long-term health of your family. Don't be discouraged if you don't see immediate changes. Patience, consistency, and love will bring about the transformation you desire over time. By implementing these final tips, you'll be better equipped to face daily challenges with greater serenity, creating a more harmonious family environment rooted in mutual respect and understanding. How do you react when your children ignore or disrespect you? Now, with these tools at your disposal, you can handle these situations with calmness, emotional intelligence, and confidence. Remember, maintaining control of your emotions, understanding without giving in, setting clear boundaries, and giving your children space to reflect will not only improve your relationship with them, but also guide them toward more respectful, conscious, and responsible growth. As we come to the end of this guide on handling disrespect from your children and building a strong, respectful family bond, take a moment to reflect on everything we've discussed. Whatever you learned so far, have any of these 6 steps resonated with you? In particular, we encourage you to take a step back and think about one key lesson or approach that you feel could truly make a difference in your family life. What will you bring into practice starting today? We would love to hear your thoughts, so please comment below and share the one thing you've learned that you apply to your family dynamics. Your experiences can also help inspire others in the community who are facing similar challenges. If you like this video, please leave your comment below and don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to our YouTube channel for more content on creating stronger, healthier relationships. Thank you for watching, and we look forward to hearing from you.